So our story continues with Vegito in a positively confused state, still as a Super Saiyan, staring at the strange new masked man before him. The same man who had just proclaimed himself as the second of the 5 strongest. On the crumbling and smushing of the chocolate bar that is Gotenks, the warrior's foot would move off, leaving the creepy masked fellow then to let out an apology. "Sorry about ruining your little treat, friend. That was your offspring that I just clumsily
Madara,
stepped on,
huh? That's his
wasn't
name?
it? How thoughtless of me. Though I'm sure Kranoa won't mind losing 2 weaklings like that." Trunks! Goten!
Okay, so I'm guessing they are dead,
But
huh?
soon a feeling of
Kinda makes
shocking
sense, right?
realization
Like when
comes
Super Buu
over
like
Vegito,
smashed that egg,
as
it's pretty
he
much the
figures
same
out
thing.
finally that with that crushing stomp, so too did he lose his sons once more, again, to the hands of a god. What have you done?
Oh damn.
As instantly Vegito, enraged, powers up immediately to his Super Saiyan 3-4.
Okay, he went Super
and quickly
Saiyan 3.
follows up. "You'll pay for that, scum!" Rushing in at Madara with conviction and pure anger in his heart, with the blade in destruction in his right hand, ready to slice through the enemy before him.
Okay.
Far too slow. But instantly, and I mean in the splittest of seconds,
Oh,
out
damn.
of
What
nowhere,
happened?
Madara pulls out a sword of his own. A katana which slices through the air like nothing and immediately sends Madara's body moving straight forward a few feet, as if moving on a conveyor belt. But behind him
Oh damn, he
is the
chopped
real
off his
shocker
head?
as
Damn, what the?
flying through the air above a headless and
Oh,
spurting
good thing he became Majin, because if he didn't, he would be gone already.
Ultra Vegito, soaring through the air helplessly as in one fell swoop, the God Killer is eliminated.
Yeah, damn, wow. Okay.
And in his final sounds before death, Vegito's now pupilless eye face just makes incoherent sounds as his furiously leaking skull just slowly flies.
Yeah, that was
through the
quick.
sky.
I mean, yeah, I mean, you shouldn't probably underestimate
While
Madara here.
quickly from
With
a
Super
view
Saiyan 3.
behind, shows himself now beginning to sheathe back his katana, having done his job. All the while, the now energyless body of Vegito drops its blade and soon begins
Damn, he
dropping to the
flopped.
ground
Okay.
itself. And with a sadistic look on his unmoving mask, Madara would then, with a painted smirk, just say, my, I am not the one to be attacking without doing your research, my silly friend. That was an unfortunate mistake to have made. Before eventually, as his katana finally clinks into place, just as perfectly timed, so too does Vegito's lifeless head finally
damn.
slam to the ground.
That was fast, bro. I mean, he did not
Also
expect
revert
that.
back to base in the process. And immediately following this, as if totally disappointed in what had just happened, Madara slams his palm onto his mask and lets out, "Seems just like I thought. That damn priest was overreacting. To disturb me of all people for something as lowly as this? This creature, the so-called God Killer, defeated before I even had the chance to break a sweat. Seems like the gap between the gods of this realm and the beings of the beyond have just gotten wider and wider. All you fools needed to do was anger this brute and wait for his comically telegraphed attack. Guts. Did you really lose to this scum? And to think you had the audacity to believe You could become the strongest of the 5 one day. Ha 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 ha. Once a dreamer, always one. Madara would then turn his body to look at his victim and continue.
Didn't Guts and Madara, like both
So
Guts and
now
Madara
what
have
do
like
I
masks
do?
going, right?
I did say to bring him in alive if possible, but I guess that's out of the question now. Does he really expect me to bring in a bloody corpse instead? For what reason? A mortal shouldn't even be stepping foot into the land of the divine anyway. But as his sights see the whole
What?
picture of Vegito's headless
Was he looking at
body,
the blade?
he notices too the giant sword
Oh, yeah.
that is also directly next to him, and then comments, "Ah, there is that, isn't there? Guts' blade of destruction.
Or is he gonna steal his blade
Demon
too?
Emperor within that. As lazy as I am, it probably wouldn't be a good idea to leave that behind. I'll take that back instead. Surely a heck of a lot more valuable than this Saiyan trash." And so Madara would then slowly and nonchalantly begin walking towards the decrepit body of Vegito, aiming to retrieve the blade that was formerly owned by the first. As he looks down though, he can't help but think, this blade lost its value 1,000-fold the minute it began being wielded by such a weakling. Guts, you managed to defeat and seal one of the legendary emperors of the demon realm, albeit one of the weakest ones. Yet, you couldn't defeat this thing? What a disgrace you've put upon the 5. I'm glad.
Damn, he just talking smack, bro. He just keep going at it, bro. Like, chill,
His hand out,
chill, bro.
Don't worry. Insight towards the blade of destruction.
Like, chill,
The
chill.
member of the 5 itself
Come on, Madara.
gained him all the rights to its usage. But just as Madara approaches, the unthinkable begins to happen, even surprising the being who had lived for far longer.
Was Vegito regenerating?
Why, you sneaky! As out of nowhere, moving on its own volition, the blade of destruction suddenly swipes forward, clearly aiming straight for the head of Madara. But on its second powerful swipe, Madara this time is quick to pull back out his own katana.
That's cool, like
and
being
block
able to
the
like,
massive blade
you know, have
despite the
telekinesis
difference
with
in
your
size.
sword. Like, that's
As
pretty
he
cool.
laughs. What a bizarre turn of events. Seems traveling here wasn't a complete waste of time. Eventually pushing the blade back as Madara too jumps back to gain some distance. For a minute, he watches on in silence, observing what the sword is even doing, before commenting, I know what this could be. The demon locked within. Perhaps the seed is weakening. This might just be its attempt at escaping.
Okay, so he still thinks it's the
That
demon
happens,
still. Okay.
This will turn into a completely different chapter. But as Madara thinks, the blade soon travels on its own accord away from the second, and suddenly is grabbed by a mysterious yet familiar hand without a sound coming from its supposed assailant. And shockingly, standing there inexplicably on its own is the headless body of Vegito, upright and
That
still
looks
spurting
disgusting.
blood from the various jugular veins, gripping onto the blade tightly, while above, the very head of the God Killer moves slowly towards the decapitated neck, as if held together by puppet strings. Until eventually, Vegito's deceased head begins leaking pink fluid into the cavity of his body, before attaching and then slowly turning around 180 degrees, as if now a zombie. leaving the head finally with its eyes closed and completely
Like how would have this felt look if it was animated, bro? I'm like so serious,
Guess
dude.
who's back? With a vicious smile and veins
Okay.
protruding
Vegito,
all over
man,
his
he's
face.
back.
As his blood circulation returns, Vegito would then return to the living world. Unkillable now, with the power of Majin Buu within him.
Yeah, Majin Buu's just his busted,
And though
right?
Madara
Like
would stand confused,
his abilities are
Vegito
just
right
so
in front
crazy.
of him would remain sword
It's
in
crazy.
hand and stare him down, letting out, "Well, well, well. Fancy meeting you here again.
Like they literally have to get him out of the
You got
tournament
me
of
good
power
with that
because of how
last
powerful
attack.
Buu is.
But I hope you know, I only let you kill me to test
I
out
don't
the
think he would have been like he
abilities
wouldn't
of
have been able to absorb Jiren, but I think he would have been a
Picking the
pretty
interest
powerful
and
foe. Like the only person that could beat him
curiosity of
is Jiren, in
as
my
he thinks to
opinion.
himself, the abilities of Buu? What in the name of Zeno could he possibly mean? This is a curious state of
It's kind of
affairs.
crazy that like none of these people like
I
know who
was told
Buu
that God
is,
Killer
right?
was just a mere mortal, one from a warrior race of evolved primates known as the Saiyans. But if my eyes do not deceive me, this scum just cheated death. Am I fighting an immortal? Huh. Wouldn't be the first time.
Oh, it wouldn't be the first time, huh?
But they're still thoroughly pleased with himself, Vegito.
What did he do
now
against that
wiping
immortal?
away the
Like, would
blood
he
from his
trap
chin,
him,
would
seal
then
him?
say, I don't
That's probably
know
what they did.
you're
They probably
muttering
sealed
to
him.
yourself over there, Mr. Second of the Five. But I'm oh so glad you showed yourself finally. You know, I was starting to wonder just how I was going to run into one of you clowns again. I mean, I don't even have a single idea about what you guys look like, let alone what universe. So I don't think my staff would have been any help. But now you're here, I gotta say, you're a whole lot smaller and weaker looking than Guts. Are you sure your energy's gonna be even somewhat comparable? How funny. But in response, almost as if uncontrollable, Madara just bursts out into an eccentric laugh as he looks to the God Killer from the side of his eye and says, "Smaller, I'll give you that. I just don't need such cumbersome muscles to wield my blade. But weaker? What an odd thing to say, considering Guts was once my student." You told
Oh,
Guts! Instantly leaving Vegito in a
I mean, it only makes
shock,
sense, right? I
as
mean,
his
he's the
earlier
second of the five strongest. I mean, Guts have already,
underestimations
you
are
know,
all
Guts
proven
already
wrong.
said what the hierarchy
That is
was, right?
until... Perfect! With a horrid, demon-like look, with his grin widening to inhuman size and length, Vegeta would yell in excitement, "So you will be an even greater challenge for me then! And in turn, an even greater feat!"
So look at his smile,
Oh
bro. What the
my.
hell is that?
I can only imagine what your energy will taste like. I'm tired of these filthy gods and angels! Feed me it now! Causing Vegito
That's his
to
final
then
form,
roar
right?
thunderously as his body bulks
Yeah,
up
this is
even
final
larger
form,
than
okay.
ever before, and he reaches his max power level, yelling as loud as he can as energy and aura overflows from his body along with the crumbling rocks of the planet, all being broken apart by the ravaging signature black lightning that accompanies him. As Madara stands before it, he, just as Vegito said, begins to look smaller and smaller, even to us. And that kind of power is no joke even to the second, as the fuel pressure and wind force being generated by Vegito's power-up causes even him to cover his masked face, as
Okay.
he peers at the shocking sight through one eye. But deep within the thoughts of the second, something comes to mind, as he thinks, oh dearie me. So this is what the Grand Priest was so alarmed about. This is the power of the God Killer. What a surprise. This does indeed far surpass the energies of those minor gods and angels. Dare I say, this energy seems to even surpass Guts by some margin. In fact, it seems familiar in nature. But why? Does this have something to do with why this animal keeps spouting about tasting my energy?
Yeah, tasting.
This time it'll be your head that falls, Madara!
I love how just everybody's using this
Rushing
damn
in
sword,
with
dude.
vengeance
Like,
and bloodlust, straight for Madara with his giant sword.
like Vegito doesn't even
ready to
use
swing
swords. He
with
uses
far more
his
vigor
hand blade,
than
but he doesn't
ever
even use swords, bro.
And not one to shy away, Madara just remains in place, moving into a defensive position.
If he actually
with his
absorbed like
katana
Trunks and
immediately
Goten, then he
drawn.
would have had like Trunks'
And
like
through his still smirking mask would
abilities.
say, straightforward telegraphed attacks once again. You mortal types never seem to learn your lessons, do you? And instantly, their two swords clash with overwhelming power. Madara's speed being matched finally, now by Vegito in his max power form, with even Madara noting, oh, so this is going to go a little different, is it? While the vigorously trying Vegito will just flex his muscles, giving it literally everything he has to push back against Madara's swing, thinking to himself, this little twerp, why does it feel like his blade swings packs far more of a punch than even Guts? I'm giving it my all here, but I suppose I wouldn't even know if he is too, with that damn mask covering his face. Eventually allowing Madara to momentarily overpower Vegito and swing his blade through, while Vegito quickly moves back. This of course not being unnoticed by Madara, who comments, oh, so the primitive ape knows not to just attack? I applaud your attempt at movement, ape boy. But you are not getting away from me that easily! Damn it! As immediately, Madara pulls back and swings.
I mean, his little
blade once
katana
again,
seems very
straight
light,
onto
so
Vegito, who defends
especially for
narrowly
speed,
with the blade
that's
destruction.
definitely his strong
His teeth
suit, right?
gritted and his body covered in electricity as it becomes more and more obvious just how out of his depth he seems to be in this sword battle. I haven't got all day for you to just be blocking, God Killer.
Damn, Vegito looks like
With
he's
the
struggling.
second's
He's struggling,
patience
bro.
Running out
Yeah.
with Vegito's defensive mindset, the second immediately perfectly transitions to a vicious kick that moves Vegito's blade instantly. What the? Taking the God Killer by surprise, as in his rookie state as a swordsman, he completely had been unaware that that had even been an option. No, I'm open! And when the scene zooms out, the effect of the kick is seen, as Vegito's blade of destruction is moved all the way to his right by force, even scraping along the ground, while Madara remains in perfect flight and in perfect
I'm just
stead
imagining
to
this like
slice
being
down
animated
at
like in my
any
head
moment.
while I'm looking at this.
But despite the obvious route for attack, Madara adds even more of an edge up his sleeve, as he soon appears right behind Vegito in his blind spot and giggles. Remember, God Killer, it is only you who makes predictable moves. What? slicing down from behind, but luckily for our hero, into thin air. As somehow, in the nick of time, Vegito just barely manages to escape via instant transmission.
Okay.
Immediately reappearing once again some distance away, as Madara remains ready to attack at any moment. The brief skirmish.
I mean, he should probably try to use his demon eye abilities. Like spawn, I don't know, just to catch his breath or something, just spawn in some angels and stuff.
Guts. I'm totally outclassed when it comes to fighting blade to blade. Maybe if I'd eaten Trunks when I had the chance,
that's what I was thinking
this
of
would
right
have been
there.
more even. But right now, I need a way to make things fair. Straight away following these thoughts up with slamming his sword back into the planet's surface.
Okay.
Leaving himself now unarmed as he quickly then swings his left arm to the side, not uttering a word, but his right arm bent out in front, as if in a new fighting stance.
What is he
now
doing?
what? Which temporarily leaves the still moving forward Madara to briefly wonder what the God Killer was even thinking. As he says, now he wants to fight me bare-handed? This fool must have forgotten already just how deadly this blade of mine is. I guess better your fingers than mine, friend. But as Madara reaches closer, Vegito vanishes quickly once again, this time leaving his blade behind. Confusing Madara as he wonders, leaving his weapon unattended? Does he have any idea what that thing is worth? Perhaps the coward finally realized just how pointless battling me really was. Not a chance, clown face!
Clown face.
As out of nowhere, Vegito reappears, but this time right behind the second, as his arms bulge and become raucous in veins as they immediately grab onto and clench hard on the neck and body of Madara, trapping him and immobilizing use of both of his arms too. But though we cannot see Madara's true expression, through his voice we can tell he's almost unbothered as he inquires, "Nice move, mortal. But what do you intend to do with your hands tied like this? You should know. It's only a matter of time before I break free of this pathetic grip and slice you in half."
Okay. Okay, he's gonna use his demon eye abilities
as one of his mysterious final form techniques, then activates. Is that? As in a shock twist, instead of summoning the power of the angels or gods that he had just devoured, he instead summons a one-to-one copy of himself.
Oh, you can do that? Okay.
Second,
a full copy, okay.
As with a sinister look of confidence, as if his plan was now in full effect, Vegito raises his hand behind him, pointed directly towards the Blade of Destruction, while saying, "Oh, don't worry. Someone's getting sliced in half, alright. But don't count on it being me." As suddenly at the end of Vegito's sentence, the Blade of Destruction begins to tremble and vibrate with the very planet, before exploding outwards out of the ground that sheathed it, and rapidly moving at speed straight towards the outstretched hand of Vegito, as if a magnet attracted to a polar center. And just like that, with even more obedience than ever with guts, the Blade of Destruction returns to its new owner's hand, the God Killer. And with the blade now with the second Vegito, the apparition screams, "Now, let us see how you come back from being sliced up, Madara. Somehow, I don't think you'll be able to do the same things I could. Wait! Leaving the previously calm and collected member of the 5 strongest, now for the first time showing a bona fide hint of fear, even through his unmoving mask.
Okay.
A shred of mercy, Ultra Vegito's clone
Mercy, yeah. We don't need mercy no more, man.
any hesitation.
We need carnage. That's all we need, bro. Screw mercy, man. We don't have time for that.
Looks like you weren't much more of a challenge than Guts, after all. Consider the master now surpassed. As the son Madara seemingly then remains motionless as his own katana falls from his very hand. And as we finally see the damage from Vegito's attack, the aftermath is just as the God Killer expected. As the second of the 5 strongest, now most likely already on the cusp of death, separates in half slowly as his entire body splits in 2. All the while the smirking Vegito would just laugh looking at him. What's wrong, kiddo? Can't you reattach and regenerate too? So much for looking down on us mortals, you divine weakling! Before then beginning to loosen his grip as his arms extend forward and he continues, I better hurry up and take this fool's energy now, before he completely dies. Oh, I can't wait. Power and energy that will be even better than guts? Count me in. Wait, what? But suddenly, in classic Dragon Ball fashion, things do not go just as the God Killer planned. As suddenly, a look of pure shock and bewilderment comes over Vegito. But why? What is this? As suddenly in a shocking sight,
okay.
as if some
So his dead body kind of like
the
went into
once
like
split clean
crows and
half-bodied
stuff.
Madara immediately breaks into a fury of black, screaming ravens. That
Ravens.
burst out and fly all over the
I thought they were
surrounding
crows
area
for a minute.
leaving the completely astounded God Killer just muttering, what the hell? What did he just do? His energy, it's gone! He was here. I felt him. This was definitely the real him! What kind of dumb magic trick is this? Where are you? Eventually causing Vegeta to quickly turn around in annoyance, ready to annihilate his victim once more until... Just as he turns around, levitating in the air, uncomfortably close, and face to face
Yeah,
with
uncomfortably
Vegito,
close.
staring him in the eyes, is now a whole Madara. Who whispers, yes, Vegito, just like that, look deeply into my eyes. Eyes of Izuna!
Hey yo, bro, this some Sharingan stuff, bro?
Suddenly, within the mask of
Oh,
Madara,
damn.
his widened eyes completely change as his right eye
Bro, this is literally some
takes on a
Naruto
strange
stuff, bro.
but haunting pattern,
Okay.
leaving the God Killer, for some strange reason now, completely paralyzed and stands still as if having just seen the fright of his life. But eventually, once Vegito comes back to his senses, he no longer seems to be in the same place. Now surrounded in what seems like complete darkness, Vegito's eyes immediately begin to dart around to figure out where he is or what has happened to him, as he thinks, what the hell is going on here? 1 minute that clown was right in front of me, and the next I'm here. Did he kill me or something? Or worse, erase me? It Feels like he pulled a bubbity and moved me to an entirely different dimension. And with nothing else to do, he begins walking slowly and cautiously through the void of pitch black darkness until... Hey look guys, it's him! He's back! A voice suddenly calls from the distance, one that seems friendly, leading to Vegito to slowly turn around and... What the... This can't be real! But what the God Killer sees puts him in even more of a shock and awe state than previously, as his body freezes in the instant, unable to contemplate what is stood before him. Hey, come over!
This is supposed to be like in pitch blackness, right? Like, this is literally in pitch blackness.
The fighters of Earth are seen once again, fully healthy, smiling with open arms to Vegito.
Krillin, Piccolo, Gohan, Yamcha,
Tien,
Bulma,
Gohan,
Chi-Chi.
and even Chi-Chi and Bulma. You guys! But instantly, as Vegito's eyes dart around noticing everyone, tears of sadness, happiness, and confusion can't help but uncontrollably stream down the cheeks of the God Killer, as he whispers, "How is this all possible? You're all back. You're all alive. Are these all members of the Time Patrol too or something?" Remembering, of course, how he just recently saw Goten and Trunks. Hey! But as Vegito cries, a familiar hand eventually grabs onto him from the side. Strange, because Gohan was just in front of him. But Gohan with a smile would then say, as if able to hear even Vegito's whispers, "Haha, no dad. Time Patrol? What even is that? It's us,
Time
Dad.
Patrol.
Just the way you left us. We're all together again. Come here." And just like that, Vegito for the first time in over 10 years,
Yeah, now look, he
his
sound like a
firstborn
horror hug,
son,
bro. What the hell?
Gohan, once again. The two emotionally embracing each other, while Vegito remains in a state of disbelief, just muttering, "Gohan, it is you. It really is." Hey, don't forget about us, Dad. But as the two hug it out, in a distance, two very familiar young kids call out to the God Killer too. "Dad, you're back!" As of course, they are then revealed to be Goten and Trunks, just as they were before they were erased, smiling and full of excitement at seeing their would-be dad again after all this time. Oh! But as Vegito looks on, he once again cannot believe what he is seeing, as he thinks, "Goten, Trunks, they're back, and they look the same." "Haha, of course we do, Dad. We were brought back from the moment we died. This time with the duo of kids actually somehow reading Vegito's thoughts."
Okay.
And in the end, as Gohan lets go with a smile, the two younger Saiyans would run and grab onto their father with pure giddiness, as Vegito just remains gobsmacked. But soon, with the sight of his actual youngest son in front of his eyes, the discrepancies in age and any logic in his mind are tossed out of the window, as with a smile, he speaks to his son. "Goten, when will you ever grow up a little, huh? I think I may need to take you two to see a doctor." That doctor can wait, Goku. What about us? As yet again, mysterious voices are heard that are revealed to be Chi-Chi and Bulma, looking as youthful as ever. "Oh, you two! You're back as well!" Leaving Vegito now in a different state of stun, as another type of love begins to overflow within him. You haven't aged a day! I've missed you! Causing the once hardened heart Vegito to scream out in happiness towards his wives. What are you doing all the way over there? Come here! Instantly then shifting to run towards his partners without any more caution whatsoever. But that happiness could only last so long for the tragic life of Ultra Vegito.
Okay.
What are you doing here? As suddenly and shockingly, behind the two women, three gods of destruction that should also be dead appeared menacingly. No! Belmont! Please! Rumshi! And when zoomed in, along with the tearfully shocked Vegito, so too do the gods of destruction he named also appear. Each silent, but with a devious-looking smirk in place. Hakai! Until the unthinkable does happen, and the three gods shout out in tandem behind Vegito's two wives, the words meant to erase them forever. No! Stop! But as Vegito screams out at his worst nightmare, traumatizing him once more, it's too late yet again, as both Chi-Chi and Bulma erase, with the latter just saying, Vegito, why didn't you save me? Stand back, Dad, I got this. But before Vegito can react in any more terror or sorrow, Gohan suddenly appears in front, confident, just as he did 10 years ago, placing his arm out in front of Vegito as if protecting him, while the two younger Saiyans in the
Where's
back
Tien?
yell,
Where's Tien and Yamcha,
no way,
bro?
Gohan, we're joining in the fun too.
Fun? This is not fun, bro.
Just like that,
I don't think this is
Vegito
fun.
being able to say a word more, all three of his sons fly straight towards the three gods to somehow avenge their mother in place of Vegito. Huh? But their flight is interrupted when two more gods appear, Iwan and Mew, and with their hands outreached they too... Hakai! And just like their mothers before them, all three are then erased on the spot too. Hakai! 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 Hakai!
Okay, well, there.
And one by one,
there's the other Z
same
fighters.
story repeats itself
Gone.
as each of
Erased.
The Z fighters, Piccolo by Jin,
Well, at least
Krillin
Yamcha
by
didn't run
Nika,
away this time, I
Yamcha
guess.
by Kitella, and Tien by Sidra are all erased before the eyes of the stood still in shell shock Vegito. You! I won't let you get away with this! As finally, in a true unleashing of all of Vegito's pent-up rage, anger and inner thoughts exploding out, his face almost becomes beastly in the process, and his entire body shoots forth unimaginable power, cloaked in thicker than normal black lightning, while every blood vessel within his body expands. And as Vegito reaches his very limit in power release, even losing himself to it, as his pupils disappear, his body becomes a ridiculously bright, shining light that even shocks the gods themselves as they all become enveloped in it, and most likely die from just the intensity of its radiance itself. And in that flash of light, everything is lost, including Vegito. But once we see Vegito again, his eyes remain gone, and from his mouth, drool drips down, as the God Killer seemingly remains in some sort of vegetative state.
Okay, so like kind of like a
When the
trance.
scene finally shows everything, Vegito is revealed to be back where he was at the start when he first fought Madara, but just frozen in time, not even moving in the slightest.
Damn, he just watching him. Surprised he didn't kill him. He's just like looking at him.
Behind him is of course Madara, sat down nonchalantly on a rock behind, as he comments as if speaking.
Well, I guess he's gonna bring him. He's gonna bring him in alive. I guess.
I told you, fools. He's been standing like that for over an hour now. This is the power of the eyes of Azuna. He'll be locked in an infinite nightmare now, with no escape for the rest of his days. In this state, regardless of that hideous form, he is as weak as any mortal out there. Do as you please with him, but just know, the Grand Priest wanted him back alive.
Oh, what?
And to
I was wondering, I'm like, wait, who's he talking to?
Vegito,
where did they come from?
They
just want to join in on the party, I guess.
Gods of destruction, Iwan and Mule. With Mule from within his giant armored machine, saying with a giggle, "Alive," he said. What do you say, Iwan? Does that really sound like a good idea after all this dirt has done? All the fellow gods he's killed? No. I think it's high time to Hakai!
Okay, they want their revenge. We'll see what Ultra Vegito can do. So, thank you guys for watching. I'm gonna rate this one a solid yeah, just like a solid 8 out of 10. Man, we saw some nice I was gonna say gameplay. We saw some nice footage of Vegito doing some things. Madara seems like a good formidable opponent for Vegito here. Very Naruto-esque, if you will. So, thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys in the next reaction, of course. Let's go.